Welcome back, y'all. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and we're your host, Bull and P. And we did get started a little bit late, but we had to add a couple more clips to the breakdown. So today we will be talking about Boo Carter. Sounds like he wants to move and transition a little bit from the star position, some from defense to offense. And we'll give our thoughts on that. But really, I want to talk more, P, about our offense in 2022 versus 2024. I think that y'all will get a kick out of this. For everyone that keeps talking about, man, it's a talent issue. Tennessee, isn't doing a good job, of going out and finding good players from the transfer portal. We've gone out and gotten really good players up front. Okay, we went out and got two good tackles, Lance Hurd, John Campbell. Who else do we have? We added Dante Thornton, Chris Brazel. Boy, all came from the portal. So we've Miles Kitterman, Holden Stays, those guys, playmakers on offense. We've added plenty of them. We spent the money. That's not the problem. It's never been about the talent, I don't think. Obviously, at this point now, we can't say that it's still talent. Now, back in 2022, those were some lesser talented teams. I know the folks point towards guys like Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, and Princeton Fenton, those were some good players. But actually, the roster is better on paper, or at least it was this season. Why has the offense gone backwards? For several reasons that we will touch on today. Please do make sure to like and subscribe. P, let's go ahead and let's start off. Give me your thoughts on Boo Carter making a transition, or at least some sort of a transition from defense to offense, because it sounds like he was thinking about entering the transfer portal. Now, from what I've heard, I don't know how true none of this stuff is, but from what I've heard, sounds like it wasn't really about NIL money. It sounds like it was more about, hey, I want to play more on offense. But P, give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, this is something we talked about when he was coming out of high school. We knew he was a guy that could play both sides, and that was the big debate: is he better used on offense or on defense? And we actually kind of trying to tell people, hey, this guy has a lot of potential on defense as well. And we always figured that he would start off as a defense only guy, but I never figured that he would play both sides as a true freshman. I always figured it'd probably be about year two when he finally got that chance. And so, I mean, for me, everything's kind of going along according to plan for him. I think he's a guy that's going to be dynamic on both sides of the ball. You see him returning punts. You go watch his high school film. He just has a different twitch to him. Has great vision. Is a big-time playmaker. He's a dog. He's very aggressive. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how Heupel kind of designs things for him and how they utilize him, especially as a team that likes to go a lot of tempo. What type of package do we have for him? How comfortable are we with him getting in there and running 3, 4, 5 plays in a row before we bring somebody else in for him? But I'm excited about him. I think he'll make some plays, and he's going to really kind of be a household name because he'll be doing it on both sides of the ball. So I think it's a great move by the staff, and hey, I tip my hat to Boo for kind of standing up for himself and trying to kind of get what he deserves, because I think he is a guy that can actually play both sides of the ball at a very high level.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think so too. I think that he definitely was probably better coming out of high school on offense than he was on defense. We knew that he could be really good on defense, and we saw that. I mean, playing at star as a true freshman, playing at the nickel cornerback position, y'all, or the nickel safety, whatever you want to call it, is pretty much the exact same thing. You're asked to do so much, and the routes that you have to cover, like the things that you're asked to do, it's probably the most difficult position on defense to play, period. And he came in as a true freshman. I think he played extremely well. He looked good as a specialist too. I mean, we see what he can do with the football in his hands, especially out in open field, sets things up well. He has a just incredible skill set. Stop, start, burst, straight line speed, runs through contact well, really good vision. I mean, just everything that you would want with the playmaker with the football in their hands. It's kind of a wonder to me, P, why it took us so long to put him out there on special teams earlier on. I think that there's a lot of old school stuff going on with this staff where we're trusting the older players instead of trusting the better players. We got to stop doing that. And I kind of get it. Guys have spent their time and all that. And you want to try to give them the opportunity. But this is still a business. And I think that maybe the staff is going to start to kind of feel that. Hopefully they'll kind of start to feel that, because they've got to start coaching like this is a damn business. This is not high school football. This is not rec football. You can't just play, your best friend's kids. And the best players have got to play. It was very obvious that Boo Carter was our best return guy. Now, he was also our best star player, and I think that he will probably be our best star player next season. Will he still be the best return guy? I don't know, because we've got some more players coming in that, just like I said, just because Boo did a good job with it this past season doesn't mean that somebody that's new might not do better next year. So we have to have open competitions all the time. And that right there, just talking about how dynamic he is, talking about him maybe playing in all three phases of the game, it hasn't been seen very often. Now, Coach Prime, or Dion Prime Time, when he was playing, he did all three. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Dallas. He didn't play a whole lot of offense, but he did play some, mostly played defense, and he was also a specialist. So I think that that's speaks volumes as to why he feels more comfortable with letting guys like Travis Hunter do it, who he's playing. I don't know if he plays much special teams, but we know offense and defense, he definitely does that. The question now is, how old school is this staff going to remain? Are they really going to let Boo Carter play on offense? If he does, P, I think that we both feel like probably going to be working in there at slot, where right now we have Braylon Staley. I think maybe Joakim Dotson, maybe Jackson coming in as freshman could also play there. We know that Mike Matthews can also play. But Mike Matthews might have to play more on the outside just because we don't have as many numbers at this point. So Boo can get worked in certain packages and things like that. Do you just, try to create a whole new package for him? Maybe like a Wildcat sort of a thing where, it's something that's set just for him. It's a whole new kind of like playbook and all that just for Boo that we can use in certain situations. Do you think that that's more feasible? Or P, are you thinking that they really want to try to slide him into the offense and maybe slot or maybe even outside?
There's no telling with this staff because it's so outside the norm for who they are. Like they don't really do things like this. We don't see them. I hate to say it, we don't see them utilize guys the way they should sometimes. So I don't know if they're going to put him in a slot position. That's probably what I'd rather see. Kind of put him in a slot, maybe let him line up in the backfield sometimes. Let him do a little bit of everything. Like use your guys, let them go play. So there's no telling, man. They may do, like you said, have a simple little Wildcat package for him where he gets in there and it's sweep left, sweep right. Maybe he can hand it off, something like that. Or maybe he even goes to the backfield. We talked about kind of being light in the running back room this year or heading into next season. So maybe they put a package in because he's already about the same size as Morris coming in, probably a little bigger than him already. So heck, if he's your number 3 back, well, heck, why not let Boo get some of those carries? So maybe he goes into the backfield. I don't know, but I think no matter where he plays, he's the guy that's going to make things happen. They just need to find out how to utilize him. But that does kind of get me a little bit excited. The fact that, well, at least we think it's the fact that he's pretty much been promised some offensive snaps. To me, that means this staff has to get more creative and has to do some different things next year. So I am excited to see kind of what that looks like. But just go back to your point about this staff being old school, set in their ways. Like that's something they have got to get better at is utilizing their talent, whether it's a freshman, whether it's a guy that can play both sides of the ball, whether it's a guy like Cam Selden who played pretty much all receiver and quarterback in high school. And he comes here as a running back. We didn't split him out wide at all or utilize his skill set at all. Like get better at utilizing your guys' skill sets. I think it makes this team, this offense much tougher to stop.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I had to set something else up before we actually transition on over and start talking about the offense from 2022 compared to 2024. But I got that ready. So what I'm going to do real quick is get to some of the thoughts with everyone that's in here. And thank y'all for joining us. If you're just coming in, please do make sure to like and subscribe. That helps us out tremendously. D Taylor, what's going on? D saying I never would have expected Squirrel to transfer. The staff must know something we don't. Otherwise, they'd have given him his NIL demands. Yeah, so we kind of hinted towards this. I kind of felt like that might be coming. And I can't really tell you why. It's kind of looks like a feeling. Now, I love Squirrel White. He was banged up a lot this season. He wanted to keep on going. And I can't blame him for going out there and playing when he probably should have been trying to rest up. I blame the staff. I blame, why would you let someone that can't lift their arm up, that every time that they fall to the floor, you can't touch their arm, that they're hurting again? Why would you let them play? How are you going to let, and I don't know if this is really the case, but to me, it had to have been, how do you let a player that is that hurt see the field whenever we've got plenty of other bodies out there? Now, I don't know, did they just let Squirrel say, hey, I want to play, so, you're going to put me in? Or did the staff say, well, we don't really trust the guys behind him, so even if he's only got one arm and he, can't really catch, we're going to play him anyway? Like, there's just a lot of things with this staff that are frustrating the hell out of me. So, yeah, I definitely hate to see him go. Do I feel like we can upgrade there? I would say, yeah. I would say there's a possibility. I think that Braylon Staley could probably do at least what Squirrel White did for us last season. He could probably do what Squirrel White did for us in his best year. That's not a knock necessarily on Squirrel. I just think that Braylon Staley is really, really good. So that's one that, that one, that one didn't. I don't think that one hurt me too bad personally. Stevie Davis is saying, "What's up, my guys? What's going on, Stevie? Thank you for joining us. Orange blood, Vol for life. All the oranges and salutes. You already know, Capitone. We in the building. Appreciate y'all for joining us. Orange blood, Vol for life saying we should have played D. Williams on offense as well. We've wasted a lot of talent over the years. Yeah, I mean, just a lack of creativity, which we're about to get into, especially over the years. You know what I'm saying? The further we've gotten into this thing, the less creative it's all got. Chris White, what's going on, Chris? Saying Pruitt was a terrible coach, but I'd argue he brought in better talent than Hypo has. Hypo needs to get and develop better talent. P, would you concur with that thought?
Well, I'll say this. A lot of success Hypo's had has been with Pruitt guys. I mean, look at pretty much the entire D line. I think Jalen Wright, Jalen Hyatt,
O-line too.
Yeah, O-line. So, I mean, yeah, I would say a lot of the core foundation of who we've been were Pruitt guys. But I will say, I feel like this class got coming in, and you look at guys like Jordan Ross coming in last year, David Sanders, some of those types of guys, and even like guys like a Travis Smith or even like a Dwayne Morris. Like some of these guys are just like they are very high level athletes that I thought we weren't getting with Pruitt. But I do think in terms of like trench play and just like overall, just kind of like SEC just type guys, it does not Pruitt did a better job of doing that, especially as bad as we were. Like imagine if we had the success we're having now and Pruitt was recruiting. I mean, I feel like he would be our roster would look like Georgia's and Ohio State's, I think.
Yeah. One of the things that I will say about Pruitt is that he got football. Like he was like an old school down south coach. Like he was going to coach you up how to play physical football. And one of the things that P and I always talk about, whenever Pruitt kind of first got here, watching the guys going through practice and, whatever they was doing, he said, man, there's just not enough pop out here. It's just not enough pop. And we know exactly what that means. There's a certain type of a burst. There's a certain type of like whenever you hit, it should sound a certain type of a way. And so, yeah, he was going out and he had to change a whole lot from that Butch Jones era. Who was playing, teddy bear, hug him up, kiss him up football, softball football. Butch Jones wasn't no real ball coach. Okay. Derek Dooley damn sure wasn't no real ball coach. I think that Jeremy Pruitt, he's a real ball coach. I don't know if he's necessarily a head ball coach, but he can coach some football. He understands how to get it done. And I see some of y'all talking about the Mickey D's bags full of money and the Chick-fil-A bags. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Because now that we're talking about Pruitt, there's a couple of things that he did that I, hated or love it. There was a phone call that he got from somebody late in the night. One of our players was acting up doing something. And Pruitt was like, what? It's like, oh my God. He was like, why am I having to do what is this? You know what? This is ridiculous. That's a ball coach. It's not, hey, Omar Norman Lott did something off the field, and we're gonna punish him on the field and punish the whole team, the whole Vol Nation after that too. Because find the players now because they're getting paid. Find them, but they need to play because we need to win. Pruitt was a hey, I want to win guy. He was a hey, if hey, these guys are struggling. You know what I'm saying? They need they need some money, and he knew that the players should have been paid. We see that now. Everyone's getting paid. So hey, if I got to do whatever I got to do, I don't know how true any of that stuff is, but whatever I got to do to try to help out, to me, that is a ball coach.
Yeah,
like that's what we need.
I ain't got no issues with Pruitt. I've said that before. I know he didn't do great for us as a coach, but here's the deal. If Jeremy Pruitt comes knocking on our door right now and says, hey, I'll come be your D coordinator, I'm taking that freaking deal because he's going to come in here, recruit his tail off. He's going to go out and get the right type of guys, and he knows defense. He may not be a head ball coach, but he knows defense. I would trade him for Tim Banks. That's just me personally. Right now,
I think that I might too, honestly speaking. And we're not going to talk about the defense too much today, but yeah, I think that I might too. We might actually do a video talking about the defense. So from Chris Brown for $4.99, thank you so much. Chris says you guys have some of the best analysis out there. on coming from players who know the game. Keep it up. Thank you so much for that. Let's play the super chat. All right, thank you, Chris. Got you in there twice. All right, so excuse me, I just excuse me, man. I just got over this cold, and then I just got a brand new one. So actually, P, I think it was your son who might have got me sick the second time.
Yeah, he stays getting sick, doesn't he? Tell you what.
Yeah, but so anyway, I do want to go ahead and jump into what we're going to be talking about today. The offense, especially the vertical passing game. That's really what we're focusing on today, just the vertical passing game from 2022 to 2024. So I want to go ahead and pull this up. This is from Pro Football Focus. This is the team pass protection. So I want to go on ahead and debunk some of these wild theories that people are having that the pass protection was worse in 2024 than it was in 2022. The numbers are right here. So you tell me. And it might be kind of hard for you to see, but I'll do my best to try to read it off for you because it's kind of hard for me to see myself. Actually, let me make this a little bit bigger for you. All right. So right here, in 2024, y'all know that I don't really look at the Pro Football Focus grades, but the offensive line graded at a 67.6, and in 2022 was at a 57.1. So you could take that or leave it. We threw the football, it's like 495 times in 24, 548 in 2022. This is the interesting part, though. Move on over to the times that we faced blitzes as passers. 8% more in 2022 than in 2024. The stunts was the exact same. Now, this one is very interesting. Average time to throw a pass in 2024, 3.4 seconds. Okay. 2022, 2.93 seconds. That is a huge difference. So what we're talking about here is we're taking too long to throw the football in 24. We're holding on to it longer. And part of the reason that we're able to do that is because we have more time to hold on to the football. If you move over to the next column, that's the average time until pressure. In 24, we averaged 2.62 seconds before we felt pressure. And in 2022, we averaged 2.5 seconds. Now, that's just a tenth, but a tenth is a difference. So they were getting less time to throw in 22, and they didn't need as much time to throw either because there was a lot of underneath stuff, which, again, we're not going to talk too much about that. But even the deeper stuff, that can be part of your quick game. That can be three-step drop stuff. Excuse me, y'all. 34 sacks in both of those seasons, according to Pro Football Focus. The hits, we had 25 in 2022. This is how many times the quarterbacks got hit, and it was only 19 in 2024. Now, hurries and pressures. This one is also interesting because these numbers actually flip. There's more hurries in 2024 than there were in 2022, and there's more pressures in 24 than there was in 2022. Now, my theory on this, P, is that Nico, I don't know exactly how they're judging those pressures and hurries, but I think that it might have something to do with how the quarterback is moving within that pocket. Is the quarterback vacating out of that pocket, or is the quarterback moving off of his spot too much? See, something that Hendon Hooker did very well that we'll see a little bit of throughout this film is even when some pressure was coming, he would stand in there and just throw it. Like he stood in there. He knew where he was going pre-snap. Standing there, I'm going to take a shot, but I know it's going to be worth 6 points. That's more of what Hendon Hooker did. Nico hadn't really got to that point yet for, most of the season. I think more towards the end, he did a little bit better with it, but that is a place that he can grow at for sure. And, pretty much, the last thing right here, quick pressures. That's the very last column. Quick pressures are pressures that come under 2.5 seconds. So we had more of those in 2022 at 87 than we did in 2024, where we only had 85. So it's pretty comparable there. But if you look at these numbers from top to bottom, then you can definitely tell that it's not that the offensive line was worse in 2024. I think that there was several different factors. I think that really it's all about the play calling. And P, you want to start off with 22. I'm gonna let you do this first play right here, man.
Yeah, and I mean that's gonna be a common theme you'll see. Like the play calling has changed dramatically. So this is 22. This is a beautiful formation. So first of all, if you guys can see what's going on, The offense is the white circles. So if you start looking at the line of scrimmage here, what do you notice? You see number 15, Brew McCoy, is lined up as your left tackle. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that all season. That's super creative. You have Brew McCoy as your left tackle, and then you bring your traditional left tackle, 54 or 58, or probably 54. He bumps over to the right side. So you've flipped formation. You've given the defense a different type of look, which is already causing confusion. You have 24, which is Dylan Sampson, is lined up at receiver here at the top of the numbers on the left side of your screen here. He's going to motion in jet sweep. So you fake the jet sweep, an obvious jet sweep formation. We're going to obviously jet sweep it to the running back here, but actually we're going to fake it, and we're going to hit our receiver that's lined up in the backfield, Jalen Hyatt. We're going to hit him down the sideline. So this is beautiful design. We don't see this type of creativity anymore. Here it is in action. You see the motion, and look at how wide open this is. And you have Brew McCoy, who was lined up at left tackle there, blocking, and it's almost like a downfield screen almost. Like, he's so wide open. People say, why aren't guys wide open anymore? Well, because we're not getting this creative and drawing things up in this fashion. Here it is again, fake the jet sweep, and you have Jalen Hyatt sneak out of the backfield, wide open down the field. I mean, absolutely beautiful play. And if you run it back one more time, if you watch the corner here, watch how he takes off with the jet sweep. Now, if he didn't take off, he would have stayed outside, and he would be on Jalen Hyatt. But look, we have Brew McCoy, who was actually lined up at tackle. He's going to be open down the middle of the field if the corner does stay outside of Jalen Hyatt. So we had him in two different spots here based on how they played us. So there's great creativity here by Alex Golesh.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's several things. Like, we talked a lot after our previous game about getting outflanked. Excuse me, that's exactly what we're doing right here, right? It's pre-snap movement, okay, to cause confusion for the defense, right? It's a crazy formation that and look, actually, if you look at where Jalen Hyatt is, you can barely even tell who that is. He's hunched over. He's a smaller guy. He's behind bigger players. What they're looking at is, oh my gosh, Brew is lined up. He's an eligible tackle, okay, tackle eligible. So the cornerback is going to be more worried about that. But what he is forgetting is that he's got to just take the outside guy, whoever that ends up being. Right now, as the motion goes all the way across, it's going to end up being Brew. But because of the way that we run this route, because of the way that right now Jalen Hyatt is inside of Brew McCoy, but he's going to work to the outside, now we've got conflict. We've created very, very simple, very easy conflict with creativity. This is what our team did in 2022. And it goes the distance because we're getting the ball also in our playmakers' hands. I don't know where this went. This is just one of many plays that we're going to be looking at. Also, please do pay attention to the play art before these plays because it's going to look a lot different as we get to 2024. I can promise you that. So this next play, man, okay, so start off on this left side. We have three different people running routes. Look at all the intersections and crosses right here. This is called really good route combinations. You can call these rub routes. You can call it whatever you want. And then go back up top. We've got another rub route. They're crossing, right? You can do this on almost every single play. Like there's no reason, and we barely ever did this in 2024. Just to let you know, again, we're starting off on 2022. And we want for y'all to see the route combinations, see the see how this stuff looks, because I think sometimes if you can see it like this, makes it a lot more simple. But we're gonna go ahead and get to the play here. All right, so boom. This is, as y'all can see, we are inside of the red zone. Okay, this is versus Florida. Looks like they're giving us some sort of a man look. So we've got guys bunched up kind of towards the bottom. You see that the guy further to the left is going underneath it, and he was on the outside. So the cornerback would have been guarding him. Why is he going underneath? To rub him off, right? He's going to rub him off. That's a natural rub. So you do that right there. Okay, the running back coming out of the backfield looks like he's starting off as a blocker, but then he shoots on out. So also notice this. Both of the routes on the bottom, where did they go? They go to the inside, okay? These are two, first off, crossing routes. They're going to the inside. What are we doing again right here, P? We're outflanking them. We're outflanking them yet again because the guy that's playing man on our running back is that linebacker. I can't tell what his number is, but it's the one that's closest to the bottom of the screen. That's who's guarding him. So not only are we having rub routes with each of the individual wide receivers, but at the same time, we are creating a natural wall from the linebacker on the inside so that he can't get to our running back who's going to the outside. Guys, this might sound like rocket science. I promise you it's not. This is what offensive coordinators are supposed to do. This is how an offense is supposed to look.
Yep.
So, 2022, yeah. Go ahead.
FYI, Brew McCoy comes up in here too. It's a great route that he runs, almost like a post corner dig. I mean, he's there.
Yeah.
We don't see any of that type of stuff anymore. And I don't know what it is, but they're getting into their routes so much faster than they do now. And so is that the receiver coach? Is that Cody Burns? Now Cody Burns is already gone this time. I don't know what that is, but everything's so much better in 22 than it is now. Just faster, better, everything.
Yeah, it is. I think that there's several factors, but so this play right here, this one is versus Alabama. So what you'll see to the left side is they're showing 3 vertical routes, but actually Princeton Fant, who's going to be lined up as an H-back in the backfield, he's going to come in motion. Actually, he starts off on the right side of our offensive set. He motions over to the left side, and from there, he's going straight out to the flats. So this is one that the play art is actually going to be a little bit off on. But what this is going to do is just create conflict. And this is versus Nick Saban's match zone. Pay attention to this. So if you look up at the top, count the orange jerseys from the sideline. Go 1, 2. That second player, that's Jalen Hyatt. He's playing inside of the slot. Now, the person in white that's guarding him, that's like a nickel player. And then there's another player right up under that SEC orange logo. That's the safety. You're going to notice that nickel player is expecting an out on this route, and the safety is going to be expecting a dig on this route. And the reason for it is we bunched our wide receivers up at the top, and they're both going to go vertical. But if they're both bunched up, they can't both just run straight. One of them has to create some separation off of the snap of the football and come to the inside. That's what Jalen Hyatt's doing. But we start our digs and our outs off that same way, at least we did back in 2022. So the routes start off looking the exact same. And we've got 2 different players that are supposed to be covering this, expecting 2 completely different things. But it's the third option. It's the worst option, which is a vertical threat. But watch how quick this ball gets out of Hendo Cinco's hands. This is a 3-step drop. Throw it up for grabs. He's wide open. Now, is Jalen Hyatt a very fast player? Sure he is. Sure he is. He's an NFL wide receiver and all that type of stuff. Do we have other players that are just as fast? Yeah, we do. We had him last season. We're going to have him again next season. It's not necessarily just about the speed. It's about the route combinations. It's about the route concepts. It's about the quarterback knowing where to go pre-snap and throwing it before Jalen Hyatt actually even gets open. So look at this. I mean, he's already throwing it. Some people might wait till he's like a couple of steps ahead. No, throw it right now. Whenever he's about to get even, you need to start throwing it as a quarterback. 3-step drop. Again, this is quick game. Doesn't take long, but we're going deep. What's this, Pete? 20 or 30 yards? I mean, dude, that's all day long. So this is the next play right here. And this is, I believe, another goal line situation. So we're going to have Jalen Hyatt again lined up in the backfield. So he's that red arrow. The red arrow is where the ball is going to go. And just in case y'all didn't know, but it's going to be some good misdirection here, P. And maybe you might be able to speak better to it, but some good misdirection here to the left side. Okay. And then, move it on over to the right side. We don't do a whole lot of misdirection this season, but was there something that you wanted to add to this, P?
Yeah, I mean, this is just we're gonna basically fake the kind of the flat pass, the little dump pass to Jalen Hyatt out of the backfield. I mean, just great look because you're gonna get motion. So actually, I don't know if the play arc shows this, but I feel like whenever you play the clip, we'll see. I think Jalen Hyatt's just getting lined up, so I think he might have actually started on the right side.
He did.
And motioned over, so then he motioned over to the left, and then we act like we're about to dump it out that way, but actually, no, we're faking it, and then we're going to get out to him using his speed to one of your favorite terms here, Bull. We're going to outflank these guys to the right side, and it's wide open for an easy touchdown.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and let this thing roll. So now we can see, all right, so you're seeing that Jalen Hyatt just went over to the left. Now look, misdirection. The whole offensive line goes one way, but coach, they're coming back the other way. This is something that Florida does a really good job of with the misdirection stuff. And you see, look at that. Look at how the linebackers and the whole defense really is biting, except for that safety. The safety does a good job being disciplined. This is a staple. This is a staple of Nick Saban coach defenses. All the way down, Kirby Smart, all those guys. They do a lot of, they are fundamentally sound. The people who are supposed to be backside are staying backside. Even that end about the line of scrimmage, he's backside. But guess what? We already thought about that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We got a wide receiver, excuse me, on a drag coming across to account for that guy. And actually, that didn't even matter because we just beat him. We just beat him to the spot with speed. Beat him to the spot with speed. Do a good job of blocking down here as a wide receiver. And that's tough. That's putting a lot of stress on a defense. Let me point out one more thing. I don't want to go too deep into the weeds, but I really want to drive this point home, y'all, so that you can really see what we're. This is a schematical problem. It's not about the players. It's about the scheme. Notice that we are on the left hash, which means what? We have a lot of field to the right side. So we're faking the play, faking the action to the short side, to the boundary side, but then we're going to run the actual play to the field, and we're going to put our guy, Jalen Hyatt, in a one-on-one situation with the safety from about 10, 12 yards out. Can he make a good angle tackle? Is he fast enough to get there? He's not. You know what I'm saying? Very well designed play. All right, so this next one right here, oh man, I love this one too. So this is going to be another Jalen Hyatt special, and he's the guy up at the top with that red arrow. So he's just going to run in out and up. All right, pretty simple. And you see that we've got double digs on the backside, just an out and up. And that's something else that we didn't do a lot of in 2024 was double moves. So let me take it back right here. So boom, you can see him. He's right at the bottom of the 50 right now in the orange jersey, just out and up. Easy, man. Just give him a little double move. And that was probably, maybe a 5-step drop at the most, but it's a quicker developing pass. You don't need all daggum day to get this type of stuff off. We also have a guy on the outside. You see, again, that's another switch route. He comes down to the inside immediately. That's another portion of this that I forgot to mention. But he's got the cornerback on him, right? He has the cornerback on him. So he goes pretty much flat almost immediately. He's going to the inside quick, and that's a natural rub. The guy playing at safety has got to play off, and that's a tough place to be in with guys who can run. We still have guys who can run. Very well thrown ball, too. Throws it to the inside. That's an excellent job. Now, on this play right here, I see that it's overloaded to the right side. I don't remember exactly what this play is. We're going to have to come on up here and let it go.
This is that one that's been slowed down. They slow-mo it all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just switched it off, man. just switch it off. So this kind of, you're talking about this the other day, how we'll go with this stack formation, but we're super wide, and then we're gonna switch. So boom, he occupies the corner, and then now there's so much space created for Jalen Hyatt to work on that nickel back guy or whatever. Now I will say the safety, if you run it back a little bit, the safety there in the middle of the field, I'm not sure what he's doing. I think he's reading Hendon Hooker's eyes because Hendon looks left. That safety works that way. He should have been more on that hash there, but Hendon moved him with his eyes, got him off the hash, and then just a nice easy seam, kind of a seam type route where he just runs to open space right here. And then, like you said, hey, the ball's out. If you run back again, the ball's out at about 15 yards. The ball's already out. So, get rid of the ball. And that's what we talk about, time to throw. We don't need that much time to throw because we're just letting it go. You know what I mean? The guy's open, we're throwing it. But this is another simple play, but very effective. Puts conflict on these guys, constantly stressing the defense.
Yep. 100%. So, we're seeing a whole lot of with that stacked formation. We gotta make some things happen.
I like this one here. I think this one against Kentucky, yeah. So I like what Jalen Hyatt does there. You see what he did there? That little subtle how he they start off stacked, but Jalen Hyatt down here at the bottom of the screen, you're gonna see him kind of almost work to the inside. And then at that point, I think his eyes go to Cedric Tillman, who's in front of Jalen Hyatt. And that's why he doesn't notice Jalen Hyatt run by him, because Jalen Hyatt released inside. So he released inside. That's subtlety, because these guys are trained. All right, first thing inside's mine, first thing outside's yours, whatever. So, hey, he went inside, so that's yours now. I'm getting first thing outside. But then this guy comes back outside again. So this is that simple stuff. And you can see, that's how we get guys wide open all the time. We got 3 guys covering one guy. Nobody's covering him. That's touchdown.
So P, was Coach Pope here in 2022? I feel like he was, or did he come after 22? Or
I can't remember. I want to say Cody Burns. Was only here 1 year, but maybe he was here 2 years. He might have been here 2 years. So yeah, I think this might have been the last year with Cody Burns. So Pope took over in 23. But he was on the staff already in 22. But he wasn't the main guy.
I'm gonna tell you right now, seeing a whole lot of things from the wide receivers that is coachable stuff. That and there's several more things that we want to really even get to today. But on this one, we've just got a bunch of verts, right? So this is pretty simple. This is a bunch of vertical routes, but it still switches. Oh man, actually on this one, my goodness. So
I was hesitated, man.
Yeah. So if you come back up to the top, right? So towards the boundary right there. Same thing that we talked about. Whenever the wide receivers are kind of close, there needs to be some sort of a switch, like switch them up or do something. And we're gonna have the first guy. He's gonna go ahead and go. Second guy comes a little bit late. That's just a simple fade, dude. I mean, like that is just a simple fade, and it throws them off just enough because I don't even. Let me try to check on what this coverage is that they're playing.
Like safety kind of sits and waits. It's like a cover. I don't know.
They got confused.
Yeah.
So this looks like this was supposed to be 3.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, it looks like it was supposed to be 3.
I'm thinking that corner was supposed to stay on that, but since Jalen Hyatt hesitates in the slot, it allows that number 1 receiver to really occupy that corner, and that corner really kind of locks onto him. But then it's too late because now here comes Jalen Hyatt. You know what I mean? It's that subtle hesitation. See, boom, he waits, and now he's kind of locked up, and then he's running right by him.
Oof. Yeah.
I
mean, we're not going to see too much of that at all. Oh, man, I love this play.
Yeah.
Look at this one. All right, so this one's coming to the running back out of the backfield, okay? Something that we do not do nearly enough of, okay? So pay attention to the running back that's right next to Hendo Cinco. He's just going to go pretty much vertical, straight up the field on like a rail route. Go ahead and let it go. Boom. Now, look, we have 2 people releasing to that zone of the field, to that portion. So Princeton Fat and then Small, they're both releasing to the same point. Okay, we see that the guy on the end of the line of scrimmage, I can't see his number, does a good job of releasing to the inside. Okay, occupying the inside again, like we talked about. Look at that. He's taking 2 people with him. The linebackers are way too late and too slow to react to the running back going full speed out of the backfield. The throw has to be on time. You got to put it in a good spot, but there's plenty of room to do it. Dude, all day long. This is very creative. I love this. Look at this. Like, just look at this route combination. This is good versus man. This is good versus cover 2, right? I mean, you see the cover 2. I think you might be able to hit this versus cover 3, Pete. Yeah. I think that we could throw some people off and hit it versus 3. This is pretty much beat it all sort of a route in the red area. Okay. We need a whole lot of that this past season. We needed a whole lot of that. So we'll watch this one more time and then we'll fast forward and we'll show you. Okay. Keep in mind how the play just looks. We're about to show you 2024. All right. Let me get rid of this.
Main takeaway from kind of the 22 stuff is there's a lot of conflict created. A lot of people are crossing into different areas. A lot of kind of natural rubs like you talked about, and just overall just more creativity. Now we're gonna look at 24 and just you're gonna see there's a stark difference between what we're doing then and what we're doing now.
Yep. So actually we're gonna start off these plays earlier in the season. This is as creative as it gets. So enjoy this while it lasts. But this one right here, this is versus NC State. I don't know why we didn't run this play more. We're just going to get the tight end out of the backfield, Holden Stays, who's not with us anymore. We're going to get him occupied, or we're going to get him out into the flats. We're going to outflank the defense like we keep on talking about. But you see all the inside breaking routes on top of him, right? So look, inside breaking routes on top, bring him underneath it. There's no one there. They're pretty much, P, like you said, kind of setting up a screen down the field. Let's come on to this next play. I love this one too. This is another really creative play inside of that red area, utilizing Tennessee's tight ends. On this one, we are going to – it's almost like the exact same play. The difference on this one is – I mean, there's a couple of differences, but the ball's going to go to Miles Kitselman, who I think he was kind of like blocking here, but he just kind of like comes open late. Nico makes a fantastic throw. I mean, on the run, running to his right with a little bit of pressure on him, leaving the guy unblocked and all that type of stuff. That was a RPO. That was triple option. I want to say it looks like we probably could have ran this too. It might have just been straight up handoff. Either way, boom, they bite on that fake. 2 people go with the guy out in the flats. No one's thinking about the guy back to the middle. Now, see, those were some very creative plays by our offense in 2024. But let's keep on going. Let's see what else we have. Okay, now we're kind of starting to get to what things are going to look a little bit more like. A lot of vertical stuff. Are there any crossing? Is anyone crossing? Is anyone switching? No? Okay, but these are all going to be touchdown passes. Just to let y'all know. These are all touchdown passes. But look at how much more simple things were. Okay, so we're talking about slot, or we're talking about squirrel in the slot up at the top. So he's the one that's going to catch this pass, right? They're showing very close to the line of scrimmage coverage. Don't know if it was man or some sort of a weird zone, whatever. That's a nightmare versus Tennessee's offense at all. You can't play this type of way versus us. And he's just uncovered. Nico saw it from Jump Street, throws it up. Squirrel, you got to stay on your feet. Keep on telling you that. Hopefully he does learn it. But, this one was pretty easy. This was not from a scheme really or nothing. This was probably a little bit more of just like a straight up bust on the defense. But, hey, we'll take it. So this is showing you we still have the speed. We still have the talent. We still have the time. And everything is there to still be able to make plays. It's still there. Even on plays like this where it's very, very simple. We can do it. Okay, now, on this one, again, it's pretty simple. So we've got, we've got the wide receivers up at the top that are kind of stacked up, kind of crossing here. We've got a post right on top of a dig, which, I don't necessarily love. And then we've got a post on the field side. So we'll let this thing play. So boom. What I do like about this is that we isolated our guy in basically man-on-man coverage. We've got 3 down to the bottom, so we're showing trips to the boundary, trips to the short side. Got one guy, our best wide receiver, our most consistent wide receiver. This is versus Oklahoma, pretty much manned up. Now, Oklahoma did this weird thing where they played 4 or 5 safeties deep to try to discourage Tennessee from throwing it deep. This was the game that I felt like we had learned, even if they're showing us that, one-on-one is still going to be one-on-one. If we make it one-on-one, it's going to be one-on-one. I thought that this play taught us that because they're one of those safeties bites down hard on Tennessee's run action, so the safety to the inside right there, right on, kind of like on top of the O towards the top of the field. He's going to bite down as soon as this play action fake comes. Look, so boom, he bites down. Very simple, post inside breaking route with one-on-one coverage. Very well thrown ball. We got a guy that can skate. He can straight up fly. Very simple, but it can still be executed, right? Like you can still do good things. Now we're getting more to what the offense has really looked like, y'all. Tell me what the difference is with this play. Well, tell me. I want for someone to tell me what looks different right here compared to 2022. What is this? This is 12 personnel. We got a comeback route on one side, and we've got a vertical route on the other side. That's basically just 2 straight up and down routes. This is our game plan. Okay. You got to be real good to be able to execute this, coach, because you ain't giving us nothing. You saying, hey, look, y'all better athletes, y'all go in. Okay, we will, right? We will. Just run past the guy. The ball's a little bit underthrown. I think that we're shocked that he was even that open. But look at the options here, y'all. Look at the options that Nico has on this play. There's 2 of them, and it's both just vertical stuff. This is mind-blowing, really. I mean, it should be very, very mind-blowing. So, we're going to let this one play again. Okay, we had to win one-on-one. It takes very good players to do that type of stuff. You're not helping them at all. So we'll go on to this next one. Huh. P, you want to speak on this?
I mean, look at this. Yeah, he has one option, and it's a daggum post. I mean, this stuff is not going to work. And we wonder why when we watch the film, you look at the Ohio State film, Arkansas film, any of these other teams, why does it look like our receivers are wearing blankets? Well, coach, because they're you can devote 3 or 4 guys to that one route because nobody else is even running the route. So that's why Nico's running for his life, and that's why the pressure looks like it's so consistent because he's sitting there waiting on one guy to get open. Well, he's not open, so now he has to escape. There's no other options. So this is frustrating, and I have no idea what this is. I would love to be in the offensive meeting room when they drew this play up and like to hear what they were thinking was going to happen. You know what I mean? I guess that's what
so
was
this
going to
one,
happen because it worked.
yeah, and this one, excuse me, this one is versus Vanderbilt. Um, you know, and Vandy had a pretty solid defense. The whole point here, y'all, that we're just trying to show you that these are touchdown scoring plays. These are successful plays, but it's like, dude, what did you have to? I mean, I don't put this on coaching, period. This was to me, and let me just go back some. To me, whenever I see this, this is the sign of a coaching staff that, I mean, man, I don't want to be too hard or too critical, but let me just call it like it is, that has no idea what to do. Man, I don't know. Like, let's just have everybody on one side just kind of do nothing, and let's just let Dante, our best wide receiver, just run a post.
You
Let's
know,
just, let's just see what
the
happens.
the only thing I could possibly think is maybe this is an RPO.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that is
So
true.
it was a run all the way. He said State comes down and throw it. Okay. So it was a run all the way.
Okay, yeah. So
That makes it a little
that does make it a little bit better, but at the same time, though, the simple fact that, you know, I went through all the touchdowns. It wasn't that many touchdowns for Tennessee. It wasn't that many passing touchdowns. So this was one of them. You know, but the whole point here is that when we are scoring, y'all, it's like it's really more of the talent that's scoring. It doesn't really have much to do with our scheme. Now, the whole RPO thing, okay, I can get that, but dude, come on. I mean, we need to have more of the plays that we saw back in 2022. All right, here we go. This is another one. It looks like on the left side, we're going to have a double move. And that's actually from Mike Matthews. And then on the right side, we're going to have Dante on another post. So he scored a lot on these posts. And actually, man, watch Mike Matthews on this block right here. So Mike Matthews is open. And, you know, it's fine because watch this block that he lays. Boom! Laid that dude out. So he is a dog. I know some people have asked, hey, are these wide receivers not playing because they can't block? I've seen Mike Matthews pancake more people than any other wide receiver, I think, on this whole team. Right. I've seen him have 3 or 4 pancakes.
And he absolutely loved that because he didn't get upset that he didn't get the ball on the wide open touchdown. He immediately turns into go block somebody gear and goes and blocks somebody. So I absolutely love that about him. True baller.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much it, you know, for the differences, y'all. It's to me, I think that it's several of them, but it really has to do more with just being creative in some sort of a way. Like we lost all of that. It's almost like we lost the love for the game. Just like as a staffer, I don't know what it was. I have no idea, but it has to be changed. You can't expect to just go out and get better players and be able to overcome such a stagnant, such a stale sort of an offense. Where are the crossing routes at? You know, where are the switch routes? You know, where's the scissors concepts at? You know, where's the pre-snap movement, the motions, the, you know, fake it this way, come back. Where's the misdirection? I mean, it's just like a straight up, hey, it's either RPOP, like you said, which we ran a ton of RPO this season. Maybe we should run less of that because, yeah, it seems like our passing game has been simplified way too much from the RPO game. Run less of that. Run more of a real offense. I think we need to do a little bit more, like bring in some more pro style stuff. It's got to change because to me, at this point, it's too gimmicky. This is like the foundation and the core of an offense. What we saw with Goalish is what the offense would look as you kind of add some layers to it, add some wrinkles to it. Yeah. But you can't go backwards. You can't just be playing, base stuff and think that you're going to win after people know your base. You got to add every single year, more and more and more and more, or people will figure it out. That's why they get paid all that money. These guys can coach. You know what I'm saying? All of them on this level. You know, I know I'm being hard on our staff, but those guys can coach too. I don't know what the hell is going on, but some changes need to be made, like some look inside the mirror and figure some daggum stuff out. Yeah. Let's see if we can get to some of these chats too, because I think that we've got a few of them in here that we didn't get to. I don't think that we got to this one from Jeff Clabo, who is a member. Thank you for that, Jeff, saying go big orange. You already know. Eric29 saying bring back the McDonald's bags full of cash. Yeah, we talked about this earlier. And then Greenwave saying, come on, we did it classy. It was Chick-fil-A for sure. Greenwave is also saying we are 17th in NIL, so our recruiting is actually stronger than expected. So there's been a whole lot of talk about the NIL numbers that have been floating around and stuff. And I think that the people who are closer to the program have already kind of come out and said those numbers are off. I don't know how any one source is going to be able to put together everyone, like how much money everyone's spending in NIL. That would be very difficult to do. I think that those numbers are off. I don't think that Tennessee's 17th in the nation in NIL. I think that we are top 10 for sure. I would say that Tennessee is easily top 10. We might be higher than that, but the top 7 or 17, there's no way that we're that bad by any means. All right, so let me get to some more of these right here. From BKL's 1296, definitely that old school sit, learn, wait your turn type of feel. Yeah, for sure. That won't work anymore. The most crazy thing to me is Heupel seemed to be stuck in an unconservative offense with the play calling. That is mind-blowing, ain't it, P? Because we felt like Heupel was, he was like, I'm going to go get it. It's 4th and 6. We're going for it.
Yeah, he's kind of lost that edge, man. And it's and there's a comment here that kind of talks about it. I mean, how much of it really was Golish? I mean, was he really the engine that made this whole thing go? Because since he's been gone, I mean, heck, we've been pretty mediocre at best.
Yeah, the offense is going backwards in a significant way, just from the play calling, from the different scheme perspectives. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we're doing that it's almost like throwing stuff at the wall to see if it sticks. And a lot of times it does because we actually do have good players. But that's not going to work versus teams that have more good players and feels like they're also better coached. A lot of things are really starting to worry me right now, y'all. I'm just going to keep it real. Yeah. From B Kills 1296 also saying now is that he hasn't trusted Milton or Nico. Is it goalish? Is it laziness? Who knows? But I'll lean towards not trusting Nico 100%, along with having a defense this year, which coaxed Heupel into easing up. So, P, what do you think about that? Do you think that we don't trust Nico?
I think I don't know, because last year it seemed like they didn't trust Milton. So is it that's the kind of the point we're at. Is it that they haven't trusted the last 2 quarterbacks that we've had? Or is it that just so happens that the offensive coordinator that we had when we had Hendon Hooker was just dialing up better plays? Like, nobody really knows. But I think next year we should get a definitive answer, because year 2 or 3, however you look at it for Nico, you would think they trust him to do everything in the playbook at that point. I mean, you would think. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think that it's that we don't trust Nico. I don't think that it was necessarily that we didn't trust Joe Milton either. There was times in 2022 where Joe Milton came in to throw Hail Marys and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He would come in like towards the end of halves. So, he would come in for different packages and things like that. So
we've even heard from like NFL analysts and stuff that he's one of the best they've seen as far as getting on the whiteboards, Joe Milton. So I mean, he understands the game.
Yeah, I think that a lot of that stuff is cop-out stuff, and I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but I'm starting to kind of, I don't know. I don't think that that's it, man. I think that they need to get some outside ideas. That's the nicest way for me to say it. They need to go get some outside ideas in a hurry, in a quick hurry, because what I'm afraid of, y'all, is that teams have figured out what we're doing more and more, and it feels like we're doing less and less. We went 10-3 this season. I don't know if we go forwards or backwards next year. I think that we are at a serious crossroads where everyone talks about, we've won X amount of games up under Coach Heupel. And I'm not doing this to try to say, hey, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. We could go forward or we could go backwards in a very, 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 very big way. In a very big way. Because if we're going to be running plays like what we just showed you in 2025, what we showed you from 2024, man, the wide receiver core, is it going to be better next week? It ain't going to be deeper.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I mean, you have a higher ceiling, maybe. Well, I don't know. You lose Dante Thornton. I mean, I don't know. We're going to rely on a bunch of true freshmen coming here and ball. Or
freshmen, hopefully, Brazel.
Yeah, Brazel.
I mean, Matthews and Staley, those are both redshirt freshman guys.
Is it going to be? Is going to be another year where we? It's going to be another year where we don't even rotate like it was kind of Heupel's first couple of years, where it's the same 3 guys every single time. We're going to go back to that. We're just going to see Brazel, Staley, and Matthews, and see nobody else. Maybe because they don't trust the other guys. Probably. I guess sprinkle in Boo. I mean, because he's earned some reps. I guess.
Oh yeah, Boo. Yeah, I don't know if I think that Boo's gonna. I think he's gonna do well wherever he's at.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much they're actually gonna play him on offense. I think that they will play him some, but how much is it gonna be enough? Because if we're talking about him making a difference in us winning ball games, he's gonna have to contribute in pretty much every ball game. You know what I'm saying? On offense and defense, maybe even special teams. That's a lot on Boo. I think that he can handle it, but I'm just saying, I'm not one of those that thinks that, oh man, Boo Carter is gonna come be the savior. Football is not really like that. It's not like basketball where you can go get you a Michael Jordan, or you can go get you a Bron. You know what I'm saying? Or like a KD. And that one person is 20% of your whole team. Even if you play offense, defense, special teams, that's tough. That's real tough. So, I mean, I don't think that we're in a very good spot right now, honestly speaking. I want to leave y'all with some positive thoughts, but I mean, I just got to be real with you. I'm pretty much sick to my stomach. I need to see and hear something from the staff about what we're going to do to change stuff. I need to see something.
I want to hear Halsey come out and say something about, we're really gonna, switch up the offense and do a lot more. I mean, I don't know. Like, I want to hear him address the offense and like the scheme, and not just say, "Oh, guys aren't getting like address it as an issue," because otherwise it's going to be the same exact thing next year. Because and like I said, in 23, we didn't know, was it Joe Milton? Well, I think it's pretty safe for me to say now, no, it was the freaking offensive play call. And then same thing in 24. And another question that I think's been answered for me is who's calling plays. Because Heupel's, he ain't left. But the offense looks drastically different from 22 to 24. And even 23 looked different too. So to me, that means that he's actually letting the OC call the plays and design the plays for the most part. Golis was a better play designer and play caller than Halsey. And so to me, I mean, it's Halsey. It's either Halsey or Heupel take completely over and get back to doing what works. So yeah,
I don't know. Look, I don't know how much of the plays Heupel was calling back in 2022. I think Heupel is taking over more now than he was back in 21 and 22. I think Golis was really the OC, and I think that maybe, and of course, I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know any of this stuff to be fact, but I feel like Halsey, might have a little bit of input with the play calling, but every time that there's a play being called, now you're seeing Heupel, he's talking. Like, you can tell that he's talking to Nico. So I think that he is the one actually calling plays now. I think that Heupel needs to go get a better offensive coordinator so that they can take over play calling duties. Heupel shouldn't have to worry about calling plays. He's the head coach. Like, he needs to be able to head coach, like figure out what the heck's going on with the defense, because there were some problems there too. He's got to be able to do all of that. So the right thing is, hey, go find you a real OC who can run this stuff the correct way with some better thoughts. Because I think maybe it's too much for Heupel. Maybe, I don't know, but something's wrong. I don't know what it is. I really don't even care.
If freaking Mississippi State fires Jeff Levy, would you go try to bring him on as your OC? I mean, he had Ole Miss humming. I mean, he knows the system. He's 100% more creative. I think that'd be
100%. I actually said that, P. I actually said that about Levy. I didn't necessarily say that I would take him as the OC, but I said that there's some things that I like that he does within his offensive scheme that I would love for Tennessee to try to use inside of our offense. 1,000,000%. It's this offense, man. It's to me, it's a lot like the West Coast offense, where the West Coast offense to me is the best offense of all time, because every single offense to this day, even the triple option, they all use some principles from the West Coast offense. And that had to evolve. If you think about it, back in the 80s with the 49ers, with all those greats, right? Jerry Rice, all those guys, they looked great running that offense until teams started to run some, cover two on them. Then they started to run more post. Teams started running Tampa 2. Then they would start to just keep on doing different things, right? Teams had to adapt on defense to the offensive scheme. But the thing about it is the core, the base, the foundation of the West Coast offense is still the same. The principles are still the same, but you got to add to it. I feel like we are like the 1980s version, of the West Coast offense within this style of offense that we run, whatever you want to call it, if it's the veer and shoot or whatever it is. But we need somebody that can create and think outside of the box to add on top of it, because it's a great idea, but you can't keep on running this base stuff and think that it ain't going to get stopped. Teams will adjust. Right. And, I think that that's pretty much where we're at. Where was we at in the chats? I think we're right here.
Mm-hmm.
From Boosted 931, what's going on, brother? Saying we need Zach Branch and HC Concepcion both in the portal still. Yeah, I'm good on I'm good on KC. P, I don't know what you think about that, but for sure, Zach Branch.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with Zach Branch is he's kind of another gadget piece. He's strictly just a slot guy. I think that we've got a lot of slot bodies. I would take him for sure because he can make things happen. But P, what do you think about those two?
I mean, I like them both dynamic players, both, bring a different level of twitch than I think we really have. I mean, I think Zach Branch is like he's like basically your 5-star version of Squirrel White. Kind of what you kind of think Squirrel White is. He's that, like, for real. I mean, he's shifty, he's fast, he's all that. I mean, he's bigger, stronger. And not that, dog scoring. I'm just saying he's a higher version of that, in my opinion. I think Concepcion, I mean, he's a very talented guy too. Has great pop, great burst, strong. I mean, I think he'd be a good piece to add too. I think both those are NFL guys, and I think our obviously receiver room would upgrade with either of those, especially both of them. I agree.
Yeah, but see, I don't know about taking two more slot guys because we still have Braylon Staley. You got to think about it. If you add two more slot guys, how's he going to build? Is he going to transfer out? And I think that, to me, I think that Braylon Staley is just as good as KC is, if not already better, to me.
Yeah,
I was not impressed with him. I think that he's pretty good. He's small. He gets thrown around a lot. He's not very strong. He's not overly fast either. He's really not. We didn't really have any trouble stopping him. So he doesn't really move the needle. I want more of an outside guy. That's where Tennessee needs help at. Like, we're losing five? Like, we've lost 5 outside guys? Everyone keeps on talking about the little scat back slot wide receivers. We need some big dudes that can go be dogs. That's what Tennessee needs, especially considering how this offense looks. Because this offense looks like, hey, you probably ain't going to get open, P. Like I said, you're out here wearing blankets because everyone knows what you're going to do. So what you're going to need is a bigger, stronger person that can fight through contact and make the catches anyway. Hey, they know exactly what we're going to do. It don't matter. I ain't got to run past you. Just throw it to me. He's on me. Throw it to me. I'm going to make the catch. We need a lot of that. We need a whole lot of that. Or we need some better coaching. Eric29 says he was definitely a player's coach and wanted what was best for his guys. Think his main problem was scheme on offense. Yeah, his I think he's talking about Pruitt. Offense was bad. Trey Thomas, not to be negative, but what has Squirrel really done? Braylon might even be an upgrade. Yeah,
I mean, hey, I'll say it. I feel the same. That's why when the news came, I mean, I was kind of, I don't want to say glad, but I mean, I was more like good for Squirrel because now I think Squirrel's kind of reached his ceiling as far as what kind of what he can give us. I think Braylon Staley has a higher upside than what Squirrel gave you. So I'm excited to see Braylon too.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So let me come back to this one from Stevie Davis saying agreed. Jeremy Pruitt as DC. Yeah, I think. Yeah, at this point, I think that he would at least, when it's time to bring some pressure, you're gonna bring the pressure. And now I don't want to just be out on everybody. I think that the most frustrating part for me, y'all, is in the biggest moments, you can't keep on folding. That's gonna lose favor with me real quick. You can't, you need to be able to adjust. You need to have a counter. I think that's the least. I mean, come on. Eric 29, haven't seen that formation at all since 2022. I wonder if he's talking about one of those bunt formations. Also saying that is Brew an eligible receiver on this play. He's talking about the one before, where Brew was So Brew was playing at tackle. He was eligible because of his number and because there was nobody on the line of scrimmage outside of him. So he would have been eligible on that play. And if he wasn't, he went all the way down the field, that play would have been called back. So, yeah, that was very, that was a sneaky little play right there by Golish. Eric 29 saying he was here in 22. I think that they're talking about the wide receivers coach back then. Balls got 404 saying go big orange. You know it. Steven Berryman, excuse me if I mispronounce your name. Your opinion on what we are going to do about the line, and we definitely got to have some of those in this portal or some recruiting something. So if you're talking about the offensive line, yeah, I mean, I thought that Tennessee would have tried to add maybe 2 guards, but because the kid Josh Thompson from Northwestern, since we got outbid for him, that tells me that, I mean, boy. So I would say best case is that Tennessee says, hey, you know what? We're just going to add him at our price. It's kind of like a luxury because we know that we've got everything that we need anyway. He just would have been like the icing on top of the cake. Or maybe they're saying, hey, we're about to go bargain shopping now. And we're going to try to, plug this hole inside of the boat with, a whole bunch of paper towels and stuff, like that's kind of, I'm hoping that that's not the case. I really am. I really am. Now, I don't know how much money they have to work with. I don't. But what I do understand is that this is what football is. This is the same football that every single program in the country is dealing with. Find a way to make it work. Whatever you got to do, if the players need to play more so that you can retain who you have, who you went out and got from high school, then let them play more. Okay? Like coach them up so that they can go play. Right? Yeah. If people need to score more, get more creative. Find ways for them to score. We need more sacks, blitz more. We need more turnovers, blitz more. You know what I'm saying? Take more chances. Stop just laying back, sitting back, and playing this old school mindset of football. That's not going to work. And unless you're going to come to me with $50 million every single year inside of the transfer portal, then you can do that. But until then, you're going to have to do some different stuff because it doesn't feel like we're outbidding some of these other programs. We got to be able to out-coach them. We got to be able to out-everything them. Everything outside of the money. Like that's on them.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing is we're not adjusting. When things aren't working, we keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like, not to boost these guys, but you look at Georgia, for instance. Their freaking starting quarterback goes down against Texas, and they're losing that game, but they're able to adjust what they do mid game and come out and find a way to win. I guarantee you, they've had 3, 4, 5 weeks to get ready for this next game. That offense is probably going to look completely different than it looked when they had Carson Beck. Because guess what? My personnel's changed. So now I have to change what we do, what we call. So be prepared for it to look completely different. A lot more read options. It's completely different offense. Like we've got to get more of that adjust on the fly mentality and not just kind of keep doing what we've been doing, even when it's not working.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I would probably never have said this before, but just to let you know where I'm at, Kirby Smart is a better coach than Josh Heupel is. He's a much better coach. Much, much, much better. That's where we're at. That's what I've seen. So yeah, it's a very serious situation. And look, I love this team. I love this staff. I love all these players. But one thing that I hate, that I can't stand, maybe more than I love anything, is losing and getting blown out. That's a big problem with me, man. That is a big problem. You go get blown out and you show several times that you can't adjust, that you can't beat teams that have some sort of an answer for your stuff. Because, P, I mean, you just called it. Kirby Smart, he's not doing that. Nick Saban, he wasn't doing that. They might have lost a game or two, but they won, they're winning championships. We just lost to Ryan Day, bro. Like, we just got embarrassed by Ryan Day and Chip Kelly. Give me a break. I mean, I don't know. I need to see some real major changes. All right, let me – I lost my daggum spot.
We're at 10:48.
We're what?
The time is 10:48. Let's go, guy.
Okay, I think that you might be at a different spot than I am, because
you just did your opinion on like 10.
Oh, you know what? Yours might be different from mine. I think
you know what? Because my clock is off. Yeah, but we're a let's go guy.
Okay, yeah. All right. So from let's go guy, it feels like Nico and Joe got limited plays because they both got a strong arm, but when Gaston play against Mississippi, or maybe Mississippi State. Okay, Gaston throw a lot of deep balls. It felt like that. Yeah. I don't know. P, do you know what to make out of
that? So what's he saying, Nico?
I don't know. I think he's saying that Nico and Joe got
limited plays because they
had strong arms, and Gaston. I don't know. I don't know if there's really anything that we can gather from Gaston Moore compared to those two guys. I mean, listen, I absolutely love Gaston Moore. I mean, he's your prototypical backup. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Nico and Joe, they are starting caliber. It's different. I think that the moments that they come in for, the plays that are going to be called for them, it's all going to be different. So I don't know if I probably couldn't give you anything to gain from watching Gaston Moore versus any of our starters. From Jacob of Chatty saying, I'm hoping Jake doesn't enter the portal too. He hasn't had a lot of time to ball out this season. If you're talking about Merck, I don't think Merck is going to enter. I think that Merck is fine because I think Merck is the next guy up. Now, GMAC looks really good too. But Mark is a dude now. I think that he understands that. He came up here understanding that, hey, look, Nico's the guy for now. Right now, Mark is actually QB number 2. So his level of preparation steps up. His level of seriousness steps up in a major way. I don't see him vacating. Now, next season, okay, in 2026, looking way ahead, after Nico leaves, whenever we're going to have Faison, Merck, and GMAC, I don't know how long we're going to be able to hold on to all 3 of those guys because that's 3 studs. I don't know how long that's going to last. Honestly speaking, I don't. But we'll see. But I think that Jake will be fine, at least until he gets the opportunity to try to start. All right. Where are we at now? From Stephen Berryman. Okay. So he's talking about the O and D line. Oh, I think we're gonna be fine on the D line. P, what do you think there? Do you think maybe we need to go add another defensive tackle or what?
Well, I know AP was saying that most of the guys are coming back, so I don't know if that means Easton's coming back.
Easton, I know Easton's trying to come back.
Okay, so I mean we'll have him. We got Moy. We got Hobbs.
Yeah, we got Nathan Robinson.
Okay, and then the rest will be what, young guys, unless we get some portal guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wallace is a guy. Maybe Wallace can step up for us, but I mean, it would be a whole lot of younger guys for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, I mean, I can see either way on that one, but I'm almost rather to the point where, you know what, if we take a little lumpage, like early in the year, whatever, that's fine. But go ahead and get these guys in, Isaiah Campbell and Ethan Utley, Marindai. Go ahead and get them in early, force them to grow up, and by the end of the year, we'll be much better for them. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do it unless you have a can't miss guy. Other than that, I wouldn't go to the portal for D-line.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of thinking that too. Did a video earlier today. I was kind of thinking, I was like, shoot. I mean, we're almost pretty solid, but I would say just in fairness to everybody else, I mean, you might need to bring in at least one more tackle. I mean, just one more, just to make sure, because I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I think that we're both pretty much on the same page. We're going to be fine there either way. From Let's Go Guys, start of the season, Nico was on fire, getting deep balls every play. Then everything changed in the middle of the season. Nico wasn't the same at the start of the season because there was a change. Yeah, so the change was, number one, we started playing up against better teams. That's definitely number one. Better teams that were better coached and better prepared for our offensive scheme. What they did is they showed a lot of high looks to discourage the offense from going vertical. As we saw in 2022, a lot of what we did was explosive passing plays, going vertical down the field. Now, the scheme was a lot better then, so you could scheme things up. You could make teams kind of – we dictated what the defense did to us in 2022. In 23 and 24, the defense is dictated to our offense what we were going to do. That's the biggest thing. That's the easiest way for me to say it. And that started like in that that started in the Oklahoma game. Yeah. Oklahoma game is when that really started. And we never really, we found some answers to it, but it's just like we wouldn't stick to it. I don't know. From Stephen Berryman, without some old line, it doesn't matter how many receivers or running backs. In this case, even Nico having the protection for us to do much on offense. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It all starts up front, 100%. I think that you want to get the trenches right first. You always build from front and from inside front to back, right? That's what offense, defense, special teams. That's how you build a team. So yeah, really for me, wide receivers should probably be almost one of the last things that you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're strong with your front, if you've got a good quarterback, you could have a decent running back. You could have decent wide receivers, like I keep on talking about with the Patriots. They did it for years. They did it for a very long time, and that's tried and true. But I think that people are misunderstanding that, our offensive line definitely wasn't good. I'm not saying that. But the offensive line this season, like we showed you, was actually, from a statistical perspective, better than the one in 2022. So where was the difference at, really? Was it more with the offensive line or was it with the scheme? Or is it because we're running this new scheme? Do we now need to go out and get juggernauts on the offensive line? Do we need 5 stars everywhere? Do we need 5 stars on the outside and all? See what I'm saying? So I kind of think that's kind of what we're saying here. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here?
Poor play calling.
Okay. All right. So right here from Daniel Webb saying poor play calling. I did the same thing that you just did, P. Alex NU saying great job again. I've been complaining about this all year. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. And from Jacob of Chatty, I've been hearing good things about Faison. I'm excited. Yeah, Faison is the truth. I think we got 3 really good quarterbacks. Nico is a very good quarterback too. I mean, this is going to be a crazy run of quarterbacks. It would be a shame if we can't, if we can't put this whole thing together. We don't have to do a whole lot, man. Just get a little bit more creative. That's it. Just do stuff that makes some logical sense and stop relying. Just go out there and draw plays like you don't have good players. Like, do that. That's all you got to do. Draw plays like everyone on your team sucks. And we will be explosive and dominant. Excuse me. But that's going to be it, y'all. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you did enjoy it. Just had to get out a few quick thoughts here. Ran a little bit over time, but we will be seeing y'all a little bit later on. Thank you. We hope that y'all do enjoy y'all Saturday. Whole lot of good football and all that good stuff. I think that the Vols will be fun. We will get it figured out. But right now, I'm in show and prove me mode at this point. So we'll see y'all on this one. Thanks. Peace.
Baby.